One of the more unique things that happens from college to the NFL are position changes. We've seen it in multiple occasions over the past few years, where guys like Ty Montgomery, even Devin Hester back in the day, Richard Sherman was a wide receiver converted to a corner. O-linemen switch positions constantly. But it's not as common we get a wide receiver convert to a running back. And the most recent case we've had of this happening is Tyrone Tracy in college was a wide receiver converted to a running back, and now he's thriving with the Giants. We have another opportunity to look at that today as Adam Randall at Clemson converted from a wide receiver his first 3 years to now a running back. He is a lot different than Tyrone Tracy, though, in the sense of he's a unicorn, he's a 6'2", 233-pound running back who is only 21 and has the hands profile of a top-end wide receiver. The reason he got converted to running back was due to Clemson's depth at the running back position this season. All of that being said, he played 13 games this season, had 814 yards, 10 touchdowns, averaged 4.8 yards per carry, 36 receptions for 254 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. They had the 80th ranked blocking unit this season in 2025, and their competition was pretty solid. I mean, their competition was decent. There was no real huge games. SMU was their hardest game with the 13th strongest defensive rushing grade unit, but they played some good competition in Louisville, who was 39th. North Carolina was 51st. LSU was 43rd. South Carolina was 24th. Like, they didn't play a bunch of Joe Schmoes outside the top 100. Only one team they played was outside the top 100, and that was Syracuse. We're going to go over 3 different games today, per usual, as we always do in these film breakdowns, and look at what Adam Randall really can achieve at the next level. Now, again, as you all know, we go over 3 different games in this. We go over a bad defense, which will be Syracuse in this example. We'll go over a middling defense, which will be Duke in this example. Again, 135th, 65th. And then we're also going to go over Louisville, who is 39th in defensive rushing grade. So that way we kind of have a good variation of good defenses, middling defenses, and bad defense. How did he do against all of them? Now, again, he did play at the Senior Bowl. That game I'd take with a huge grain of salt. I think it's cool to get him out there, cool against go other players. The main thing for me was the measurements, height, and how fast he was running. He ran at the top speed of 19 miles an hour. He is a speedy guy for his size, which is something for us to note here. But this is against Syracuse. We're going to start from worst to best defenses. Again, his vision is slowly improving. He's new to the position. So we're going to come in with the expectation of he has a lot to learn. A lot of the running backs we break down in these examples are coming in after playing running back for 3 or 4 years in college, playing running back 4 years in high school. All of that, he's literally never played this position outside of this year. I think he played it a little bit at the very end of last year when Phil Maffa was a little bit banged up. But outside of that, it really has been just this year that he really got into the position. Here we go. Here's an outside breaking run. Again, he's a quick back. Like you can see, even with his burst, like his first 10 yards, he's bursting through. But here's one of the biggest concerns I have. What do wide receivers do that running backs don't do as often? Cough the ball up. Wide receivers are very known for not having as good of ball security. And here's an example of what's going to happen a lot at the next level. Come in and rip the ball out. And yes, it does come out. As you can see, the ball is right here. His ass isn't on the ground yet. And clearly the ball came out. Now, did he lose that fumble? No, but these are things that will pop up on film. Is ball security for him? And some of the just light intangibles he's going to have to improve on. But again, here's some examples of what you can do with him. Is use him as a literal wide receiver, because he played wide receiver for multiple years. And as you can see, as you guys saw in the thumbnail, he's got some length to him, right? Now, here's a run that we're going to look at on this next play. Here's a really good burst by him, right? Finds the hole, and he's really good at exploding when he sees it. Pause. But you get my point. I mean, when he sees the hole develop, again, he takes really wide steps. Again, I think that's just his high frame, and he runs a little bit high for my liking. But again, these are things that with practice and with time can be improved. And again, when you're newer to the position, I'm going to give you just a little bit more flexibility with my evaluation, because these aren't tendencies you've built up over years. A lot of times running backs, wide receivers, when we look at in the future that are playing these positions for years upon years, I'm going to put more flack on you because these are traits you've developed for longer period of times. They're more likely to stick as habits than they are to be broken when taught the right way. But nonetheless, he runs a little bit high for his size. Again, being 6'2", you want to try to get more of that Like if I draw it out here, he's running like this to where it's really easy to attack his inner frame and his thighs. Or if you watch like a Derrick Henry run the football, it's more like that, where you're going to make first contact with that shoulder before you can hit his frame, right? His run blocking, honestly, for his size, his pass blocking, was not very good. But again, that's something that he's literally never done before this year. I think this can be taught. He also had some good Senior Bowl reps though for pass blocking. So again, can easily be improved from what we saw. But again, good explosion from him. He's coming off of the ass, right? This is what you want. He's pretty patient, right, for a first-year running back. Like he's definitely doing the right things here, like the little things. But again, we're gonna see it to a fuller fruition later on in this game. Here's a perfect example of what I'm talking about with the running pad height, right? When he runs this high. Like, watch 23 be able to get right in his gut. And, like, obviously 23 falls down here. But Randall just took a huge hit. To where if he runs that tad bit lower, gets a little more of that forward lean. This is a shoulder pad 23 is hitting and bouncing right off of him instead of hitting straight in it. Hitting straight in his rib cage and knocking him down to the ground. It's just like that little bit of difference when you're that tall of a running back. That does make that difference. But again, overall, this is going to be something we see more later on than like in these first few plays. But he actually has pretty good contact balance for a guy his size. But again, he also is able to spread out here, be utilized outside of just the run game, which is good. Here's another play with his burst. Again, he does have very good burst when he gets through the hole. It's just a matter of him getting there or not. And again, this Clemson News was ranked 80th in the country, so they are bottom half for sure. And you can see it. It makes when I was watching this film, I was more so taking away of like, I feel bad for Cade Klubnik than anyone else. Like this man had nothing to work with almost all of the time. But again, that's not really on him. They didn't have a super strong run game. Their O-line was weak. Yeah, just a bad recipe. Here's a good play. Bad initial play turned into a good play, right? So Adam Randall is going to get on this check angle. Again, why is it a check compared to just running a regular angle route? Because as you can see, he pauses at the line of scrimmage. He has to check for a blitzer, right? If there's blitz, he has to go help the block, right? That's what the check is. But if he check releases, right, he's running an angle route here, which as you can see, he does. Absolutely swallowed up by the linebacker because what is he? Too high. But Cade ends up scrambling here. He gets out of it. And this is where the wide receiver comes out in him. Great adjustment back to the ball. Good catch. And that's going to be a touchdown. And again, that's, where you get the reps of being a receiver, right? Great job adjusting back to this ball, catching in the back of the end zone, keeping your ass in. Just a great play. Now, here's a play we're going to take with a massive, massive, massive grain of salt. Massive grain of salt. But we can see the explosion here, right? We can take a little bit of things away from him. As you can see, 3, 5, 3. So obviously this is at the end of the half, right? This is the end of the half. And they're going to run the ball, just a normal GT counter, right? There it is. But here's where we see the speed. Look at that. Bang! Right? If this cat doesn't take a great angle here, right? Low key, 0 gives him an extra push. But if he doesn't get that, Randall might be able to break this far. As you can see, like, his explosion from here to here is very fast. And for him being 6'2", 230, he's not a light guy running at that speed, right? This was a horrific read by him. And again, this is where we point stuff out of things he definitely can improve on. But here you go, get him to the outside on a little pitch play. And again, these are some little things that he can do. Again, he's a quick and big back, which is just an interesting, we don't see it a lot. Like, we see a lot of, like, especially in this day and age, small guys. Like, I quote all the time, Devon Achans, Jahmyr Gibbs, the Kyron Williams, the Bucky Irvings. Like, all these backs are coming out, and they're relatively small. Even James Cook is under 200 pounds. They're relatively small. But a guy like Adam Randall, you don't see very often, where he's 6'2", 230, running 20 miles an hour. And realistically, he probably will get clocked even faster than that. I have a feeling he's going to run in the... If I had to guess, high 4.4s, low 4.5s. I don't think he's going to run much slower than that. Like, he's a fast back. And if he runs in the 4.4s as a 6'2", 230 back, he's going to shoot up boards. Is he going to do that? 40-60 chance, probably not. But I think he has a real shot to. He's a really fast back. And if he does that, he is one of the more unique prospects we're looking at. Here's a great cutback by him. And again, here's where things that can improve. One of the things I knocked a lot of running backs in this class so far for is watch his feet pitter-patter here, right? He takes 14 steps to make a jump cut, and that is because it's practice. It's getting your hips low to the ground, absolutely cutting on a dime and dropping your hip from your ass to your ankle to make these backdoor cuts. But again, he does a good job here. Finds a way to get up for like 7 or 8 yards. There you go. Here's a good play by Adam Randall, right? Small hole that's there. We finally see him use his vision a little bit more, explode through and drag a few guys for an extra few yards. That's a good play, right? You're going to take those 5-yard gains. And like I said with Nick Singleton and Katron Allen, seeing this on tape is almost more valuable than just seeing random broken huge runs, you know? Can you read a small hole? Can you fit through it? Can you get skinny through it and explode for 5 or 6 yards and get those gains that normally a lot of running backs wouldn't? And here's a play where the vision absolutely stinks because his hips are in the wrong spot. But again, these are teachable things for him, right? His hips are relatively even here, but look how big of a step he takes here. That is going to mess him up. Because look at the hole he has backside. It's going to mess him up, right? And what you want to do here is you do a float, right? A float or a skate, like you float into the skate, right? Where you're not going too far forward, because the faster you go forward, the more you mess up your inside zone, right? Because this is an inside zone when we look at it from the back end. As you can see, everybody's flowing to that left side, right? It's a split zone play where we're going to split that edge. And right, so he should be floating, and then out, right? And then out. But this reach pushes him too far forward, and he just goes a little bit too fast into that inside zone. It's got to be when you're running inside zone, you got to be patient unless it's a bang and right in front of you, right? Which he didn't have. Here we go again. Here are the concerns of not playing running back and being a wide receiver for so long. What happens? Ball's got to be high and tight. What happens? Ball comes loose. Ball comes loose. I don't care if you're down or not. You can't be putting the ball on the ground. You just can't. You just can't. You cannot do that. All right, we're going to go to our next game here. We have Duke. Obviously, they're 65th in the country, so again, right in the middle of the pack. Again, there's 136 teams if you don't know. So 65 is pretty much right in the middle of the pack. Here's a good burst play by Adam Randall, right? Right through the hole. Put your shoulder down. Get moving, big fella. Again, coming downhill, you don't really want to see a guy that's 230 like that. He's being able to use out in the spread here because, again, former wide receiver, 6'2" frame. I'm assuming he's going to jump out of the gym when he gets to the combine. I'm super excited to just see that. Here's another play from the wide view, right? Getting that short explosion area, right? He's doing a good job and gets his head down. He always seems to fall forward, too, which is great for him. Again, big size, so probably why. But there it is. Look at that. Jeez Louise. Now, again, this hole, you could fit a Mack truck through. Right? But again, shakes one tackler. It's hard to bring him down. I mean, he's a big guy. And he does stay up a pretty good amount. Definitely he's an above average contact balance guy. But for the most part, like the burst here is what I'm more looking at. Like this is, again, crazy burst right there through the hole. It's nuts. That's nuts. That's what you're looking for, right? That's what you're looking for. A guy that's a big frame that can run at the high levels. Right? Well, we'll coach the intangibles. But, like, raw athleticism has the talent. Here we go. Another pitch outside. Can he get through? Get skinny through the hole. It's still hard to bring him down. Ooh, man. Damn, if he didn't get stiff. If he didn't stiff him all the way out of bounds. Whew. Could have got there. Instead, he's going to find his way here on this next play. Let's get it through. Let's just put your head down, big fella. Let's gain them yards. Again, he always falls forward, which is something to note. Again, great contact balance here. Let's get outside. Let's get moving. Right? Breaks one tackle. Right? Breaks two tackles. Can't bring him down. Let's get to that next level. Way to be. That's a good run from a raw runner. Right? Again, I wish he was a little bit lower still. And I don't like how his arm's swinging for the balance too much. Right? It's a little concerning, a little bit. Where he doesn't trust his feet almost. See that arm that always wings out? That's what I really didn't like when I was watching a ton of like Emmett Johnson and them is it makes me feel uncomfortable when they're clearly uncomfortable with some of their cuts and when they're leaning the way. When you have to stick your arm out for balance, you don't trust your bottom legs. You just don't trust the legs under you. That's just physics. Here we go. Here's a good cut, right? Let's watch the wide angle here. Good kick out block. Way to scoot right on the ass of your lineman and get to the next level. Good cut there. That's a great cut. Look how close he is. Look how close. We talk about all the time of shaving the ass of the guard. It's a good cut. Finds that next level. And again, another good explosion play. Again, the agility is sometimes a concern for me. Because one, look at like how he curves and his arm wings all the way out. Again, he's just like his legs and his upper body are not oftentimes on the same path, which leads to slower cuts, slower movements, and that's more what I worry about. I'd like for him to just stick and then like cut like and plant. But a lot of times he's almost trying to like lean when he's moving, which like I just don't love. But again, follows his blocker, gets ahead of steam, right? 64. Let's get moving next time. Come on. You're a good contact balance behind the line of scrimmage, right? Gets hit, stays up, gains you 4, gains you 4 or 5, right? Gets outside, gets in. Easy play here. All right, next game we got is Louisville. Dude, you might as well think this is South Carolina. Jeez Louise. All right, gets out in front, gets outside. Good blocking, way to get skinny in the hole. I feel like we have like a closer field angle than we did the last time in Clemson. There we go. Good cut, good explosion. Way to get up. One thing I don't like is how narrow his stance is out of the backfield. Look how tight his feet are, I feel like. But overall, not bad. Again, there you go. Get up the field. Get moving. Yo, boss, if you're a former wide receiver, let's catch this rock, huh? We have a block here. We have 2 blocks here. It's just you and this guy. Huh? Let's catch that ball next time, big fella. You are a former wide receiver. Now, to be fair, I'm going to show him for that. I haven't seen any other drops in this film. That is the only one, but I wanted to point that out. Now, this play is what he's going to be drafted for if he is, right? Watch this play, right? Obviously not that one. Right here. A quick trap. Right through. Great explosion. DBs are going to have a hard time with this man. DBs are going to have a hard time. Here we go. Here's another good play here. Right on the GT counter. Look at that, just falling forward every single time. Want him to break this tackle, but he breaks that one. Get off me, good sir. Leaning forward and gaining some yards. Again, catches it out of the backfield. Let's get moving. Ooh, close. That corner just able to wrap him up just a little bit. Here we go, Randall. Let's take this inside zone and let's go. Let's get off. Let's get moving. Again, that's a lot of size moving very fast. Way to let your lineman get there. Again, DB's going to have a hard time. Going to shoot for the ankles. And a good play nonetheless. Great run. Again, he's fast. He's quick, man. I don't know if he's as fast as he is quick. Like, I just think he's super quick for someone his size. Again, way to shake off some tacklers there. Get moving. This Clemson line sometimes is just really hard to watch, dude. Like, watch this. Shoots off the edge. This is 74's guy, right? Like, he's supposed to seal him. Because obviously we're holding backside linebacker that you can't see here. Right? You're holding him. 74 just, like, literally just completely misses him. Which just is the easiest tackle in the world. There's really no chance. This happens all the time in this Clemson film, dude. It's actually rough. That and just like plays breaking down that shouldn't be broken down have been happening left and right. But that's going to end those 3 games. Now let's go to my overall consensus on Randall, right? I mean, as you can see on your screen, I have him rated as my second lowest prospect so far we've looked at in the grading process, right? Now, I have him graded lowly, right? He's a 6.25. It's not insanely low. It's only a little bit above Emmett Johnson and a little bit below someone like a Jonah Coleman. But again, those are also polished backs that have been at the running back position for a while. I think Adam Randall has a very high ceiling. He just needs to play running back longer. He just needs to get training. He just needs to work with NFL coaches. I think if he gets in a downhill system, gets in a gap scheme-based system, he could be a great back. I think he could be a great pairing to a back. He can do literally everything you pretty much need from a back. It's just the little things. Like his footwork I rated low. It's below average. His vision's below average. His patience is below average. That comes with learning the position. That comes with watching film. That comes with being in those spots. When you've only been doing it for 1 year, it's a lot harder to do. As we saw, Tyrone Tracy was very much the same prospect coming out of Purdue, where he struggled with some of those things coming out. But as you get more familiar with your offense, you work with these NFL coaches, and now we see him with the Giants. Is he an absolute barn burner stud? No, but he's a very good contributor and a great pass catching back to have in that offense. And I think Adam Randall could be the same thing. Well, do I think he's going to be a barn burner? Absolutely not. But I think if he lands in the right spot, he could be a very good producer for a team that needs a back like him. So I'm excited to see how he ends up being. Again, his evaluation grade is a little bit low for me just because he's an unpolished back, but I think his upside, which again, I don't have factored in here to the ratings, is very high. I think he's a very athletic guy, big body, great speed, good burst. I think he has the tools to be great. It just has to be all put together in one solid sweep. So we'll see how it ends up being. If you enjoy these styles of videos and you want to see me break down someone next, make sure to leave it in the comments below. I appreciate all the support on these videos recently, and it's a lot of fun to hear what you guys think of these prospects. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.